morning, everybody. Morning. How is everybody? Cold. First thing I need from everybody, please stand up. If you can't, it's fine. Great. Put your handbag down, please. Something my wife taught me to get everybody going. Hands up. Stars. Stretch to the left. Stretch to the right. Okay, sit down. Now we'll talk. Right. Since it's so cold and early winter for everybody, so welcome. I recognize a few faces, but I do a lot of talks all over the place, so no offense. Older folk look like older folk. So, if you know me, hello again. If I don't recognize you, sorry. I'm also getting older now. I hit the 50, so I'm getting babies still, I know, in this room, but hey, not like Chanel. Since I last saw some of you, like some other people in this room, I got married. A couple other got married, Chanel and Louis. For those that don't know. Sorry, I had to get you there.
That's fine.
So yes, I'm from a company, Bark Unlimited Organics. We're a compost producing company out in Protea. Been doing it for 40 years. Jan, the owner, started 40 years ago with a company, Kwekerij. We used to grow a lot of plants. Got into the compost game because it's easier to make your own compost for your own plants, cheaper. And now, unfortunately, the wheel turned, and now we make more compost than we grow plants. So you'll see our large range of organics that we do. I'll talk to you a bit about each one. We've got a couple of new products. We're also going to talk about what to do in winter with our products and how to prep your garden and to protect your garden, because after the past couple of days, everybody's seen there's been a bit of damage, especially out here on the East Rand. I'm sure you've got a bit of coolness. I've seen a couple of nurseries with a lot of frost already. So, but yes, so we're both, Jan and I, horticulturalists. We're dedicated to what we do. We love what we do. This is a passion game. Everybody out here today is not here because of anything but a passion for gardening. So when we produce our products, we're doing it with a background, trying to give the best product to you guys, the customers, so that you don't have to think about what you're doing. We want to think for you. So those that know our product and those that don't, we start with a raw material that is clean. How do we get it clean? Because we get it from the sawmills. So we use pine bark and pine sawdust as our base product, so that you don't get weeds in your garden and stuff like that. The other reason we use that is the breaking down process and the acidity of those products. The general garden plants, most of them like a pH of about 6, 6.5. Some of them like more acidic. We'll get onto that now. But generally, the pH of pine bark and pine sawdust give us that average that helps in the garden. Some of the soils, I don't know this area so well, get a bit alkaline, so it helps to put in a bit more acidic mix into it. So that's how we start on it. We'll start on compost, plain compost. We use the pine sawdust for the compost. We activate it using different manures. At least 3 months worth of composting before we sell it. We look at it by visually, the color of the compost once it's done, the temperature of the compost, but nothing less than 3 months of composting. How do we compost? Who does their own compost here? Who makes their own compost? Good on you. I don't. Not because I work for the company, just I don't have time for that. The big thing with compost, it's a living organism. So those that make compost, great. Just treat it like a living organism. What do living organisms need? Food, water, oxygen. Same as us. And how do you get that into your mix? Turn it. But you've got to keep it moist as well. But not too moist. If you drink too much water, you're also going to have a problem. So your moisture content has to be, we don't go on a percentage because everybody is different, but it has to be a little bit moist to carry on activating. It dries out, it could actually catch a light. We have ours that actually spontaneously combust on the farm if we let it sit for too long and don't turn it and don't put some water on. Then it needs a bit of food. Yes, the sawdust is its food, but the microorganisms that eat on that need nutrients as well. That's why we add kraal manure, horse manure, chicken manure into that. You get compost activators for your own compost. I say, why do you want to bother with that? No offense to the compost activators. Buy a bag of kraal manure. Add that, a couple of handfuls every couple of weeks into your compost heap. The microorganisms in there are dying to get into your compost and start actually decomposing all your stuff. Or any of our products, because all our products are still living. They've all got microorganisms in it. Throw a bit of compost in it. But keep it turning, make sure it breaks down, visually look at it. Because in the turning you're getting oxygen into it as well. They still need the oxygen. So that's the compost. When we do compost in your garden, when you're planting plants, yes, I'm not trying to sell more product, but rather put in too much compost than too little. Because you don't want to fix the problem 6 months down the line. Buy a plant, any of these plants, lovely, delightful, costs a couple of rand. Everybody's pockets are tight. When you go and buy, let's see, I'm going to take this camellia. Beautiful, 200 rand. Not a bad price.
Do they like winter?
Yeah, no.
Because mine's full of bugs. I don't know if I must cover it.
No, they love
No?
winter. Love winter.
Okay.
Love winter.
They're good.
So you're spending 200 rand on a plant. You want to spend money on the soil. Because you don't want to fix the soil afterwards. So we've got an acid mix for that. But any of the plants, put in compost. Add your fertilizer. Because you don't want to fix it after. You don't want to dig around the plant afterwards, anything like that. You want to prep it properly. So it's trying to, with my own nursery, I tell my customers, just take the bag of compost. Don't tell me you've got compost, because I know you're lying. There's no compost at home. They just don't want to spend the money. Put that bag of compost in. It's like almost adding some herbs and spices to your cooking. Makes it better. So add that to your mix when you're planting, just to prolong the life of your plant. You want your plant to live forever. So give it that little opportunity. Then we go on to our potting soils. Everybody knows our potting soil. I've got an indoor and an outdoor potting soil. People want to say, why indoor, why outdoor? 2 reasons. Indoor, like a small plant, you want to be able to carry around. It's a plant inside your house. So you want to be able to move it. Hence, it's lighter. It's a bark-based potting soil. The other reason why it's lighter, let's call it lighter, is there's no wind in your house. Your pot's not going to blow over. And it's easy to move around different rooms in the light, winter, summer, all of that type of thing. Whereas our outdoor potting soil is a bit heavier. So we've added a bit of topsoil and compost into the mix to make it heavier and to make it more water retentive. Why do you want it more water retentive? Outside pot. It's hot. The pot cooks like a little oven. It's windy outside. It retains more moisture, so you have to water less. And a heavier pot, if you've got a bigger plant, it's not going to blow over. Because I've seen many pots blow over. My customer phones me at the nursery going, that pot that I bought, it's broken because it fell over in the wind. Heavy pots. And it's not overly heavy, it just adds a bit more to it. Then we go on to lawn dressing. It's not lawn dressing time, but I'm just going to speak about our lawn dressing. Summer, not now. Unfortunately, I had a little incident with a colleague of mine that posted in April to lawn dress on our website and on our Facebook. And I had to tell him, he has no clue of our industry. But Google said it's a good time. Google says it's a good time in the northern hemisphere, not the southern hemisphere. He didn't realize that. That's why a lot of our books as well, the books that come from overseas, all northern hemisphere, we have to adjust for that. So we've got our lawn dressing, but I'm just going to pick up the small bag of topsoil. We take a subsoil. We've had the whole talk of those with Terry when she was here. We dig a subsoil out, add our own compost to it to create our own topsoil, or lawn dressing. Unfortunately, with customers like you, I'm not saying anything horrible, our lawn dressing and our topsoil are the same product. But customers walk in and go, I want topsoil. But our lawn dressing doesn't say topsoil, so nobody buys it. So we had to spend 100,000 Rand to create this bag so that you guys would buy it. So if you're looking for a lot of topsoil, just buy the lawn dressing, same product, just unfortunately customer walks in specifically looking for topsoil. I've had it in many nurseries, and wherever I've been, they will not buy anything else unless it says topsoil. So that's just a little, it's a bit cheaper to buy a bigger bag. So next time, please, buy the lawn dressing. Okay, great. Afterwards, you can ask questions. I'm not going to go through every single product, or else we'll be here until after Tanya's little talk. So we're going to speak a bit about these ones that are in the front here, match to the plants and that type of thing. I'm going to start that side with the Clivia mix. Some guys have got their Clivias flowering now. You do get your winter flowering Clivias. Those two Clivias there are the interspecific, so they the cross between the Gardenese and the Nobulus and the actual Miniatas. So randomly they should flower towards the end of June, July. Mine popped out now, which is great. I've got the reds and yellows and peaches all in that variety. But those are the two flowering. Now, why do we have these different mixes? Because all plants grow in different areas. So where do generally do Clivias come from in our country? In Mpumalanga, the forests. The low velds, into the Eastern Cape, Natal. Where do they grow? In the forests, in a lot of shade. There we go. But the material that they grow in is all your leaf matter under your forest. So they don't actually grow in soil per se. They don't need soil per se to grow in. So we've created a mix that you can plant with directly in the pots. Mine are planted in it. The Clivia mix. It's composted bark, quite rough, because those thick roots, everybody knows the Clivia root, they're thick roots. They can climb in between anything. So we're trying to create that correct environment for them to grow in. And yes, you can plant them in the garden. I've got some in the garden as well. They grow fine in the garden. But give them ideal soil, you get a better plant. So that's why we try and just adapt to it. And with any of our mixes, citrus mix, dagga mix for the dagga growers, we don't add fertilizer to it. If we add fertilizer, it makes it quite a bit more expensive. So we tell everybody, when you buy compost and stuff, add fertilizer to it. Always, preferably organic. Chemical, yeah, I use a bit of chemical. Sometimes good for the plants. So that's the Clivia mix. The pH of the bark is also quite low, so you're looking at about 6. The Clivias are happy with that because their pH in the forest is also quite low. So that's what you're after on your Clivias. Those that grow Clivias, good luck. If you're growing by seed, better luck. I'm 50 and you think I'm young. I don't even grow by seed because I'm too impatient to wait for that seed to grow. So I only grow by division. I find specific plants around when I collect, and then I just sucker them out, and then I know I've got that exact color. Growing by seed sometimes a bit dodgy, and you've got to wait a while for those plants to flower. And we don't all have time in our lives for that type of thing. Then we'll go on to acid mix. For those that walked in, our acid mix bag is, for those that can see, you can come have a look afterwards. We've actually added pictures to the front. The reason why we've got the acid mix, we actually take old pine needles and pine bark, create the compost, and sell it to you guys. pH being about 5.5. From the pictures and the plants we've got here, and we've actually worked out with Terry, anything ending in an EA, hydrangea, camellia, gardenia, azalea. There we go. Prefer acidic mix to growing. What is that acidic mix doing to them? They only absorb nutrients out of the soil when the pH is low enough. So if your pH is too high, your plants are going to start turning yellow, these specific plants, because they're not able to draw those nutrients out of the soil. Hence we've got the acid mix. And it's not that acidic that you can't plant directly in it. You can plant directly in it. So it's just ideal for those types of plants that want that acidic mix. Our soils aren't acidic enough here. Sandy soils are quite acidic, but these ones up here, not so good. Not so good. But now we're going to go on to the Protea mix, slightly leading on from the acidity aspect and being sandy soils. Proteas, where do they grow? In the Cape. What soil's in the Cape? It's not soil, it's sand. It's actually rubbish. It's basically river sand, poor river sand. Sand generally is acidic by nature. So how do you grow a Protea up here? Create the same environment as in the Cape. Yeah, we're not going to bring their sand up here because it's rubbish. So what do? We've got river sand and we've got acid mix. So we create our own environment for the Proteas to grow. So what does a Protea want? Sun. What is in the Cape? It's sun, it's windy, it's just a tough life. That's why Proteas, bar the flower, they're not the prettiest plants in the world because they live quite a tough life. So our Protea mix, what we've created with that, we've taken acid mix mixed with river sand. Boom, done. Create the right environment for those plants. And it comes to exactly the same thing. You're paying a lot for the plant. You don't want it to die. And you see so often Proteas just die. Two reasons for that. Too much water. So your soil's not right. We've got a lot of clay up in Gauteng. Make sure the drainage is good. And please add lots of fertilizer. No, don't add any fertilizer. Nothing. Proteas do not want fertilizer. Do not fertilize them, especially your phosphates. Everybody knows when you're planting plants, superphosphate or bone meal, add it to your plant. That's a surefire way to kill your Protea. They hate phosphate. The fibrous roots burn and it will kill your Protea. So do not add. They don't care for fertilizer. You can, with time, add a bit of an organic fertilizer like that, but very mild. I say with my Proteas, a quarter of the strength of what they tell you to put in. But only once the plant is established. Let those roots get established in your soil. But please do not add any fertilizer to your Proteas. They won't. The nurseries don't mind because you come back and buy more. But we don't want you to buy more because it costs a lot. So any of your plants, your ericas, your fynbos, all of that type of thing loves your acidic mix with good drainage. I planted at my father's house 30 years ago. The builder left a whole pile of river sand in the one corner that he never removed. I just planted the Proteas in there and they grew like a bomb. They loved it because that's their condition. It was a northwestern wall, so it got hot, blazing sun, and they loved it. So positioning of all your plants is key when planting. So soil and position, all you after. Now one of our other new mixes, can't hold it up forever unfortunately, citrus mix. We got this little idea from one of the big nurseries down in Cape Town because of how he plants his citrus and what the citrus requires. Citrus generally also quite likes good drainage and slightly acidic soil. So we've created that with our citrus mix. So it's composted bark, pine bark, so your pH is already low. So generally we're looking at about 6 to 6.5 on the pH. You can plant directly in it. But then because of the citrus trees quite enjoying a bit of fertilizer to fruit, to flower, all of that type of thing. We added the fertilizer in so that you guys don't have to add the fertilizer. There's a little star sticker on there that says it's added in already. But with any fruiting plant, and generally all your plants, constantly add fertilizer to your plants. Don't skimp on fertilizer. If you want your garden, and you guys own a gardening club, we love our plants. You fed your kids when they grew up, feed your plants while they grow up as well. So we only use organic fertilizer, Talborn specifically. When we do mix fertilizers in, you're guaranteed it's not going to burn your plant. The only issue you've got is those little four-legged furry creatures that sometimes decide they love the taste of bone meal or whatever. So just be careful of that when planting and fertilizing. The easiest way to fertilize a plant, and I've done it because I've got sausage dogs and Labradors. They love to dig.
Yeah.
Lock them away, dig the hole, put the fertilizer at the bottom of the hole, plant your plant and cover it up. A lot of people mix their fertilizer in the soil and then backfill into it, but then they can smell that fertilizer. And you come back an hour later and the hole's still there and the plant's down there. And you want to kill your dog. So, yeah, we'll get onto a bit of fertilizer now. But that's the citrus mix, the new mix that we've got with the Protea mix. Just to, we try and make it easier for you guys. Instead of coming to the shop and going, okay, I need something for citrus, what do I use? Not all the nurseries know what to use. What fertilizer do I use? Now it's all in one. Same as the Proteas. We're just trying to make it easier for our customers and the nurseries. You can walk in, you don't have to speak to anybody. You want a lemon tree, you go and get a lemon tree, next to it is a citrus mix. You know what to buy. You don't have to question anybody. Then, wrong time of the year, but I'm just going to show it to you. Carnivorous mix for all your Venus fly traps and stuff like that. We just decided to package it and sell it, so also you don't need to know. What are they after? Low pH. How do we get that? Canadian peat, which is bog peat. The pH is quite low, it retains moisture. We add the perlite in just for a bit of aeration into it, but your Canadian peat retains the moisture. Everybody buys a small plant, Venus flytrap. It's not going to catch all the flies in your house. It'll eat one every 3 or 4 days, so don't think it's going to control all your flies. They're lovely to have, but they're not there to kill all your flies. And we had a rough fly season because of all the rain. So just something else, and you'll see in the nursery we have started doing the little 2DM bags just for everybody that's got a small plant, be it an African violet or an orchid. You don't want to buy a big bag, you just buy a small bag, and it's resealable if you don't need to use all of it. Something different. Okay, I'm just moving down. Succulents. I've got a succulent mix, and then I've got a cycad mix. The only product, I don't classify the lawn dressing as a product because that's just lawn dressing. This is specific to plants. These two are the same product. But, same as the topsoil, a guy who's buying succulents will never buy a cycad mix, and a guy buying cycad mix will never buy or buying cycads will never buy succulent mix. Same product. They're looking for the same conditions to grow in. What is that? Good drainage. So when you're planting aloes, cactuses, succulents, cycads, anything like that, make sure you've got good drainage in it. They're not too worried about the pH like Proteas, but they still want good drainage. And by having good drainage, and I've had customers when I retailed 20 years ago, whose big 3,000 Rand aloes started dying. And we see when they start dying, the leaves start curling and going red, the big tree aloes. And he couldn't understand why, and he came back to fight with us. I said, "Sir, what happened?" "No, I planted, like you said." I said, "When last did you water?" "No, it's aloe, I don't need to water." Water. Once a week at least. But with the good drainage, you're never going to have the issue of getting waterlogged and it starting to rot. But they still need water. I was watching your guys water this morning, all the succulents and stuff. They still need water. They will die without water. And the guys plant them in the containers in the nursery in good draining soil. So you just need to water. Please always remember that. There's no point throwing plants away that you don't water correctly. That's all we're after. Okay, we're going to go on to a bit of our mixes, just a bit of an explanation on it. Seedling soil, self-explanatory. Planting seedlings, very fine root system. You just want your best for your plant. Plant a bit of this in, it's got a bit of fertilizer in as well. Ideal to plant your seedlings. It's a very fine composted bark. You'll see when you take out your seedlings out of their 6-packs, it's very fine bark in there. Same type of product. Then, for all the Dachau growers around here, those who laugh the loudest, sure, not the best time to plant because of the cold, but we've just developed a specific product to plant. We supply big commercial growers with the product, and we decided to bag it for retail because everybody in there.
And you put it on everything.
You can put on anything you want. the Dachau of the soil. It's not a real herb. Oh, somebody's dealing in seeds, yeah. I love it. The thing with Dachau, it's a weed. We call it weed. It grows anywhere, but it grows better in a proper soil. So, it's a composted bark. It's got earthworm castings. It's got cocoa peat. It's got Canadian peat. It's got perlite. It's vermiculite. The guys that grow this professionally designed the mix. Then we added fertilizer to it. It has to be organic with Dachau. They don't want chemical. It makes it a pharmaceutical drug or something. So they only want organic fertilizer. So, what is, those that have done the talk with me before, phosphate. What is the organic phosphate version? Bone meal. Bone meal is an organic phosphate. How do they make bone meal? Go to the abattoir, get a bunch of bones, grind it up, sterilize it. There's your bone meal. How do you get nitrogen into your soil organically? There we go, blood. Somebody's heard before. Blood meal. Everybody's like, gross. Same thing, blood from the abattoirs, dried out, sterilized. That's your natural organic nitrogen. We don't add potassium into that mix because the Dachau growers only wanted to flower at a certain time, so they only add it when they want it. So something in the line of this they would add after about 6 to 10 weeks, depending on when they want it to bud, as an organic phosphate. Organic potassium, kalium. So that's the reason behind that. You can, as you say, use it for anything. Grow your veggies in it, grow your herbs in it. If I could sell that as a potting soil, except for succulents and things like that, because of the cocoa peat, I would. But you guys wouldn't buy it because where a normal bag of potting soil costs how much, Chanel? Let's call it 50 rand. Whatever it is. This in a 30 DM is going to cost you probably 180 rand. So nobody's going to buy it. So if you have the money to buy this and use it, I sometimes, if I'm planting funny things, I'll take a bit of this and mix it with the potting soil just to get the extra stuff in it. So you don't do herb mix yet. So who's planted veggies this winter? Sorry, I'm coming back. Any winter veggie growers here? Great. What did you put in your veggie gardens before you planted?
I made compost.
Great. Lots of it.
And leaf mold.
Leaf mold. No fertilizer.
Oh yeah,
What fertilizer?
organic.
Organic. Great. as long as it's fertilizer. With excuse me. With vegetables, and I had resurrected my veggie garden during COVID because nothing else to do, sitting at home. Sorry. Veggies take up so much nutrients and everything out of the soil. Every 6 months, when you rotate your crops, and by rotating, change your crops as well, add compost, fertilizer, whatever you can to the soil. If you look at the farms around, the big farmers, those soils are so depleted, they've got to add so much fertilizer to it. Those plants are just constantly trying to draw everything out to produce fruit, be it a millie, whatever, to grow. And we just keep on planting. Every 6 months we deplete the soil. So my strategy for veggie gardens, per, let's call it square meter. And yes, it's to try and sell more product. 1 square meter, 3 bags of compost, half a bag of kraal manure. Kraal manure, it's an organic fertilizer. So you can use that as a fertilizer or any other organic fertilizer, be it be it a liquid or a granular fertilizer. Kraal manure more natural, but when you're adding kraal manure, just give it a week or so just to weaken in the soil. But kraal manure works a bomb, and it's organic, so it will sort out everything in your soil. Then we go on to the last one that I'll talk about, orchid mix. Picture says 1,000 words. Phalaenopsis, but you can plant your cymbidiums, anything in this mix. We've designed it around the air plants, call it that, so it's just a substrate for them to be planted in. You're going to add your fertilizer, something in that line, a general fertilizer to get your leaf growth and your flowers pushing, and Bob's your uncle. Easy. So we, on these types of products, we look at the specific guys to help us design the mixes. We're horticulturalists, but we're not specialists. So we go to the orchid guys, get them to help us design the mix. We've got a bonsai mix. Like I said, with the citrus mix, the guys in the Cape, they help us with those mixes so that we try and get the best product out to everybody. Stay there. Great. Now, it's winter. So, what do we do in winter? I'm going to swallow it and choke.
Would you like the mic?
No, I'm good. No, that's just going to confuse me. It's winter now, so what? A couple of things that we need to do in winter. Who's mulched already for winter? Why only for winter? You should mulch all year round. Mulch, 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 please. Sorry, camera, I'm moving. So, I'm just going to throw these up that you can see. Bark nuggets, macadamia nut shells, bark chips, and then bark mulch. And compost if you want. Mulch, mulch, mulch. All year round. But why do we do it in winter? There we go. Protect the roots. And then also, you don't want to water too much in winter. The more you water in winter, the more chance you got of getting damage in the morning. If you miss water in the evening by mistake, and then the next morning is like Monday, everything's frozen. So it's just there to protect your soil from the cold. Yes, it's got its other purposes. It creates a little microclimate or ecosystem for the bugs, stops the weeds coming up, stops evaporation of water. So it's purpose, so to speak, but for winter specifically, just to protect that frost layer. Works a charm. Just keeps your soil just that little bit. 1 or 2 degrees will help. Tons for your roots. Then I grabbed a couple of these guys in the shop. Frost cover. If you haven't got it yet, it might be too late, but it's never too late. Get your frost cover. It's not going to help against black frost when the winds come through, but it just helps with that constant light frost. And those that have had a bit of frost damage, don't cut off those leaves, just leave them. They'll protect the leaves below from getting the next damage when you forget to put something on again. And we know, we all forget. So try and cover this stuff. Look, I'm a guy who believes plant, if it gets hit by the cold, maybe it wasn't meant to be there. But there's some nice things that we just want to protect. And you guys on the East End, you've got a different type of cold here. It's a bit fresher than my side in Randburg. So try and protect. You've got lots of this in stock. Some of the guys are running out already because everybody waits until it's too late.
You should have clips in the bag so you can put the bag in.
Did you hear that? Clips in the bag.
Yeah, I've got
Pigs
pegs.
work as well.
All my pegs.
There we go, you see.
No.
Just get some more pigs.
That Monday wind just
Took everything off. No, my nursery, all the plants were lying down. You saw it Tuesday here, all the plants were lying down. I said to my son, because my son's run the nursery, I said, just leave it. There's no point picking it up, it's just going to blow over again. So the big thing in winter, protect. And also, don't forget to fertilize. But be very specific with your fertilizer. You don't want your plants outside pushing new leaves in the middle of winter, because they're going to get hit by the cold. So you're going to use something more, a general fertilizer, or, so this is a general one. Who knows the fertilizer, code of fertilizer, the NPK? So all fertilizers got your 3 digits on. So this is a 514. So your nitrogen is quite high, your phosphate in the middle is quite low, and your potassium on the end, or your kalium in Afrikaans, is a bit higher. So this is we call it a general because it's good for leaf and flower or fruiting. You've got your...
I lived in 5 litres or 10 litres.
Yeah, I'll give you the mixtures now on this. Then you've got a leafy green. Green, easy to see, it's for leaves. It's a 712, so it's a higher nitrogen. So this type of thing you're going to use for your indoor pot plants, your ferns and things like that don't flower. Because you haven't got enough potassium in here to get it to flower. But you don't want to put this on your outside plants in winter, because you don't want them to produce leaves in winter. Then, your red one, fruit and flower. It's a 416. So you're always going to need a bit of nitrogen, but then your potassium is higher. Why are you going to use this in winter? Because you've got a lot of winter flowering stuff. You can see up here. Your lemons are all fruiting and flowering now. Pansies, primulas, all of that type of thing. What's your daisy? Uriops, there we go. It's out of my mind. Your camellias, all of that type of thing. You do want it to flower now. You should have been fertilizing a couple of months ago, but you can still fertilize now. Always remember, fertilize as well. It just, you'll see your end result is going to be so much better. I see in my nursery as well. If you skip a month of fertilizing, those plants start to take strain. You just got to keep them going. So that's the big thing on this. This young lady here was asking how much to mix this with. So
1 cap for a litre.
5 moles to a litre.
1 cap to
1 cap to a litre, yeah.
Okay.
So and this is 500 moles, so it'll make 100 litres. So it makes a lot of fertilizer. And being organic, it's not going to burn your plants. So I use this either as a drench or as a fertigation where you can spray the leaves. They'll get absorbed by the leaves. But this is basically the only fertilizer I sell at my nursery because I think it's so diverse in what you can use it for, and you don't risk burning your plants. I've had customers buying chemical fertilizer and thinking it was lawn dressing and laying out LAN as a lawn dressing and then complaining. It was not my own nursery years ago, and he sprinkled his lawn dressing like fertilizer. He just got confused. So it's key. Bless you. Sure. Bless you. Okay, then just going back, other things we're going to do in winter. Pruning. It's almost pruning time. Not too soon, but depending on how many plants you've got, it's time to prune. Roses. I do my roses middle of July. Same as my hydrangeas. Yes, we got like little funny bugs and stuff around. Steri seal. Just to seal those little cuts where we've pruned. It just stops the little bugs, especially on the roses. There's no boring going on with your little bugs and stuff like that. You used to be able to spray lime sulfur.
Yeah.
Can't really get that anymore.
No.
It's terrible. I used to spray for a lot of customers and they hated me because I'd spray everything in there, all the hundreds of roses they got, but this is quite easy. You just, either with your finger or with whatever, onto the tips, works a charm. Then I'm just going to go back onto Clivias. Who grows Clivias here? Great. Who loves the worms? You always see it too late. There's a couple of products. I only grabbed this one. I ran out of hands. Cypermethrin. That's more a contact thing to spray. So if, like me, you see the worms, it's too late. Spray it with a cypermethrin because it's a contact spray. It kills the worms. Or if you try and be good, every 3 months, a bit of quinol, mix it, drench it in. So it's not contact, it's systemic. Gets absorbed by the plant. So ideal for the Clivias. I'm trying my best this year to get them going again. I skipped a year of poison just to try and get the balance right again because we don't like poison. If you don't like using poison, but you love your Clivias, buy a crinum. Indigenous bulb. Lovely plant. Nice big pink flowers. Those little lovely worms will go there first. I've got a nice big crinum in the garden. Those worms get there first, and then I'm like, okay, quickly get to my, and then you'll get the little worms on your Clivias that you can actually get rid of quickly. Just a little, crinum, yeah. Just a little tip to go on to, and a lot of plants get diseases, let's call them a disease, be it rust, black spot, worms, whatever, if they're unhappy. Unfortunately with a Clivia, it's not that he's unhappy, it's just life. And the problem with spraying your own Clivias, don't think you've sprayed them and it's fine. Because Tant Sunny next door doesn't spray hers. So all the eggs hatch there and fly over to your juicy plants. So you have to keep on spraying, unfortunately. It's just a constant repetitiveness on Clivias. There's certain things you have to keep spraying. Roses is one of them as well. They get a lot of aphids. There's ways of companion planting against that, but if you've got a lot of roses, you do have to spray a bit against the aphids and the black spot and the rust and the red spider mite and all of that. But if your roses are happy generally, give a bit to the bugs. Let the bugs eat a little bit. They're not killing the rose, they're just having a little taste as well. And then it's the worst thing for a gardener to see something tasting their plants. But you're also trying to get that balance in the environment with your ladybugs, your birds, all of that type of thing. So yes, I don't like promoting any poisons, but sometimes you have to. If you don't need to, great, rather just leave it. I mean, the nursery back on the farm in Protea messaged me with pictures of the hydrangeas full of powdery mildew, and there's a bug here. What must they do with it? I was like, I was there last week. There's nothing wrong with them. No, but we can't sell it. I said, you can't sell it anyway. Just leave it. We've got snakes and everything and frogs on the farm. You don't want to spray it. Next month we prune everything down to that size. It's pointless spraying. So always think when you spray, when and how and what to spray. And like we say, when I talk always, and it's not talking bad about any of the hardware stores, we won't name them. Come to your local nursery for advice. Unfortunately, those guys aren't generally qualified to give you that advice. They just sell the stuff, and yes, it might be a bit cheaper, but it's a company buying for 100 stores or 200 stores. But it's all about the advice. You don't want to poison something for no reason or incorrectly or whatever it may be. So please, we big promoters of nurseries. Come to your local nursery. Get your advice from Louis. His staff are well qualified. Get those types of things. That's why we do the garden talks as well, just to help the customers with everything. We've got to try to keep everybody on the straight and narrow, let's call it that. We all live in this world. We want it to, it's a green world. We're greenies, we're gardeners, we love it. But poisons and things like that, that's why we also go on the organic fertilizers. Your chemical fertilizers, unfortunately, do eventually deplete the soil, add salts to the soil. That's why the farmers in the Free State, I drive all around the country selling compost. The farms are terrible. It's like deserts that they plant in because that soil is so depleted. But they fertilize and they plant and they spray poison because they need their millies to grow.